Well, welcome back to another episode of the Buffalo Happy Hour. Mike, what's going on?
Derek, we're with our friends over at 189, and there's a lot to discuss. But first, we should have you guys introduce yourselves.
I'm John Crook.
And I'm Harrison Crook.
Are you guys brothers?
Yes, we are.
I love it. You're like super worried about the microphone. You're like, please pick up my
Don't
voice.
worry. Nice and close.
Yeah. No, you're good. You can just relax.
So, you guys are brothers. What made you get started in this business? Did you guys just start it together? Did one of you get started first?
It was just straight up necessity. I needed a job when I was 16, and I started working at a coffee shop because I thought it was cool, and girls worked there. So
there
it's
you go.
Giddy up, let's make some coffee. And then I kind of did it through college just because I started to enjoy cooking and stuff like that. And I got out of it for 1 year thinking I should be corporate. Hated the shit out of it, and then I started working in the kitchen again, and then my parents called me and they were like, hey, we're thinking about buying the Barbill, do you want to help? And I was like, yup. So that was my little journey, but that's what I've been doing for my whole life pretty much.
And that was in what year?
Did they buy it? 2011.
Okay, so that conversation occurred in 2011,
Yep.
and you're all green, waiting to
Yeah.
make it in the kitchen industry, and
Yep.
then they dropped that bomb on you?
Yeah, and I believe I told them I'd help them get it open for a couple months.
Look where you are now. How about you? Similar story?
Yeah, I was at school, or I was gonna be a freshman in college, and they bought it, and I was like, I know I don't want to do that, so I would just kind of work on summer vacations or whatever, and then I actually quit school to work here because I loved it so much. So I've been there since 2011 as well, but.
So, back in 2011, people obviously flock to the Barbill now, and they have been for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
But when did you guys see the Barbill become this insane business that everybody just needs to go to for the wings?
I think it was funny because when we bought the place, we thought, can't get any busier than this. And it was like, and then every single year since 2011, it gets busier and busier and busier. And we keep thinking, we have this,
We say it every
it's dumb
year.
at this point. We're like, this is it. We're maxing out. It can't be any busier than this. We can't fit any more humans in the building. But it just, stuff just keeps going up. People love wings, turns
Yes.
out. Yeah.
So, are you guys drums or flats guys?
Drums.
I'm a late comer to the drums. I was flats for a while, but yeah, drums are better for blue cheese, I think.
Yep.
They don't have that vein, which I have a problem with.
Yeah,
so.
same. You don't have to pull them apart.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't need to be unnecessarily dirty. You know, everybody tries to pretend like, oh yeah, I love that. Get right in there. It's like, why?
Well, everybody does the twisting thing now.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
they break apart the bone. I
Yeah,
didn't
and you
know
can
that
like pull
until
the
2
bone
years
out.
ago.
Yeah, but even that's kind of filthy when you think about it. It's like when you got like this floppy thing. But yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a good point, though, because it's just unnecessary bone marrow
Yeah, I don't.
in the conversation.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
need it. I like the drums.
Drums, yeah.
Crunchy. You get it all.
So before 2011, was your family involved in the food industry?
No.
No? Okay.
No, my dad sold computers.
Oh, easy transition, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Which is why they needed me, the expert, the 22-year-old who had absolutely no idea what he was doing, to come help them out. So, yeah. So,
That's so interesting. So how did that, do you know how that thought process took place where we're doing this industry and now let's just buy one of the best businesses in East
yeah,
Aurora?
my dad is, he loves the deal, the art of the deal.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And Barbill is just, it's an East Aurora institution, so when you wake up, we're born and raised here, so when you're born here, nothing, Barbill, even before, it started getting popular when we took over, I think just kind of organically, we didn't really do anything, but prior to that, if it was outside of East Aurora, not a lot of people knew about it. So it was a no-brainer to my father. He was like, I can't believe they're selling. I'll do whatever I got to do just to buy it because, and I don't even think he planned on getting out of the computer industry. I think it was just like, oh, we'll buy the bar. That'll be like a retirement plan for me. And then it just, here we are.
Yeah, that's like
consumes our
laughable.
entire lives. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's also interesting too because they probably didn't buy it thinking that they're going to run it, right? They thought that they were going to be like just the owners.
Oh, yeah.
How much is it now that you guys are actually running the place?
Pretty much.
It's gone through huge waves. We are like highly involved, but we have a huge management team now because we have technically 3 locations, but it's 4 separate kitchens because our takeout location is a completely separate staff and management team and all that stuff. So we have 4 complete restaurant squads that we have to watch. So we're not like in the Barbill day to day. Same with 189 is we just kind of like check in, make sure everybody's good. But
How do you sleep?
you don't.
Yes.
Because like
I sleep very well, actually, just for like 3 hours. And then I'm back.
I don't. I fall asleep around 10 p.m. Then I wake up at 2 in the morning and I just lay there in silence thinking about all the shit I have to do the next day. So, yeah.
So do you know what, just being the owners now, do you know the origin of why it called the Barbill?
Yes.
Awesome.
In 1967, the couple that opened it, the woman's name was Barbara and the man's name was Bill.
Perfect.
That's it.
Barbill.
That's okay. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
And then 189, that's a really clever story too.
Yeah,
You guys
very
are-
tricky
Yep.
stuff. Very tricky stuff.
Because obviously for our listeners, they're at 189.
Main
That's
Street.
the address.
Yep,
Yep.
yeah,
So,
189 Main Street.
were there other names thought of when you purchased this place, or you just
No.
wanted? Yeah. No.
Yeah. Yeah, no. 189 has been quite the journey, but I think that was one of the only things that we pretty much had right out of the gate
Yeah.
that is the same. Every other thing has changed, but
Yeah.
So we're in 189. So we should touch on that for just a few moments because Barbell's essentially took the front. But
Yep.
for 189, you guys are known for burgers, whiskey, and then like a secret society culture that most locals know about and then a lot of people don't know about. So can we discuss some of the nonchalant aspects of 189?
sure. The secret society, if you will, is a bunch of dudes who like to drink whiskey. They come in on Mondays, and the original plan was like, oh man, we're gonna do this locker program. We're gonna have this like line of people that want to be a part of it. It's gonna be high turnover. We're gonna give them specialty bottles of whiskey. We're gonna talk whiskey, blah blah blah. And we had the initial probably like 10 to 15 dudes join, and they looked at each other and they were like, I think we just want it to be us forever. So we fundamentally don't take memberships anymore. It's just the 15 dudes. They come in, they hang out every week. You'll see them shortly.
Yeah.
They'll be making a lot of noise. Once they know there's a thing happening, they'll probably pop up here and try to commit. Yeah,
That is awesome.
they're something else.
Yeah.
They're a spirited bunch.
So it stuck to 15.
I think so.
I think
we're right
at-
around there.
Yeah, 15, 16, something like that.
But
That's amazing.
yeah, they love it. They love it. But yeah, they just come, smoke cigars, talk music, watch sports. Yep.
Yeah.
But they get to
Wow.
buy. Their perk is that they get a locker in here, so when they come in, they can, like, if they're entertaining or even if they're just eating, they can come and grab a bottle out of their locker. They can buy it at cost, so they don't have
Oh,
to.
yeah.
So it's like cheaper than retail. And then we give them the opportunity, if we get limited edition stuff or rare stuff, they get the first crack at it before we put it on the wall. Or
So what type of limited edition stuff have you gotten in?
I mean, it used to be so much cooler because it was like when we opened, especially in Western New York, nobody cared about whiskey at all.
Sure.
So we were the only ones asking, so we would get everything. So there'd be like limited runs or like stuff like the Game of Thrones thing. They would have like special stuff or barrel proof stuff or whatever. Now we just get allocated like regular
everybody else
stuff
gets.
because nobody can get it. Like Blanton's, you get like 3 bottles and that's it for 6 months.
Yeah.
So it's like now it's just like, can you get your hands on Angel's Envy? It's
Yeah.
it's like, you know what I mean?
So we've been talking with a lot of liquor stores too, and it seems like when the consumers know what they're going to get before they even know what they're going to get,
Oh, yeah.
because they just flock. Is it
Yep.
the same with you guys? If you know that you're having something exclusive, you're just going to get a herd of people that come out of nowhere?
I don't know if a lot of people know that we get it.
Yeah, not
you
so
know what I mean?
much. Maybe it's because we're in a suburb, but not
Yeah.
so much that. But
Yeah, our members
kind
know.
of do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
members know.
yeah, they can smell the blood in the water. So. And then we also get Pappy once a year, and we pretend that we don't.
Yes.
So our members are like, any Pappy this year? I'm like,
Oh,
no,
man.
man, again,
No,
I don't
I
know.
think we got
I don't
skipped.
know what happened. That's crazy.
think we
Another
got
year,
skipped.
man, I don't know.
It fell off the boat. You didn't hear?
Christmas, we're at home like,
That's awesome.
So when did you guys buy this place? Or when did the 189 come into the Barbill family?
in 2014, it is a long, it's a sordid past, but they there used to be a health food store in this building, and they just wanted to unload the building. So at first we were just going to buy the building because why not? And we had like a little cash to spend, so it was like might as well invest in some real estate. And then we had this idea of starting a brew pub. You know, and so we looked at
No further comment.
Yeah, exactly. That's that. And then we looked at a bunch of different locations and stuff, and we eventually just realized, like, you know what, this is pretty cool, and it's nice that it's next to Barbill, and let's just see what we can do. So.
Do you have a lot of people coming over here hoping to get wings from Barbill to eat here?
Don't lie. Don't
Multiple
lie.
times a day. Well, no,
Multiple times a day.
we get more people that think they're in the Barbill than people
Yeah.
just asking for wings.
Oh, that's a good point,
yeah,
too.
we literally get all the time, like,
We've
where are
had-
your wings? Like,
We've had guys, we had one guy, I'll never forget him. He sat at the bar for an hour being like, I'm meeting my friend here, I'm meeting my friend here, I'm meeting my friend here. He finally gets a phone call. The guy's like, where you been? I've been here for an hour. And he's like, where am I? And we're like, 189. He's like, holy shit, where's the Barbill? We're like, next door, bro. So both of these dudes are just sitting next door to each other, not speaking to each other for an hour.
Could knock on the wall
Yeah,
to each
that
other at
happens a
this
lot. They'll
point.
sit down. We give them menus and stuff like that. They flip it over and then they just quietly walk out.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, message received.
Yeah.
But
So one thing about the Barbill too is you guys have stuck with what worked with chicken wings and also beef on weck. Where did the beef on weck come in, and do you guys feel like it's underappreciated because everybody knows you guys for the wings instead of the beef on weck?
yes, so I do feel like it's underappreciated. Where it came from was, so my mom's Uncle Joe, who bought the place in 77, was the third owner of the Barbill. The first owner of the Barbill, Barb and Bill, the only thing you could get at Barbill was beef on weck. So they had like a little tiny household oven, and they would make like one roast a day, and you could get sandwiches, and that was it. So it was like come in and drink and eat a sandwich if you want, and that's it. So when he bought the place, he was the one who added wings. They didn't have wings until 70, I think it was probably till 1980 or something, because I think the first couple years was just him trying to figure out, you know, it used to be a biker bar back then, so it was infamous for like people getting the shit beat out of them and stuff like that.
Perfect.
So yeah, he had bottles smashed over his head and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
he used to bartend every single night. It was crazy. But so yeah, he invented, or he didn't invent them. He brought the wings into the picture. But beef has always been there. And the second part of the question, I definitely think it's undervalued, but I think it's generational. I just don't think people our age really eat beef on weck as much as they eat wings. But I obviously, my biased opinion is
Yeah.
that ours is the best.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. Sorry,
No,
it's interesting because not a lot of people specialize in beef on weck anymore. Everybody seems to have the best wing, and it's
Yeah.
the biggest debate in Buffalo
Yeah,
is who
yeah.
has the best wing.
And the other debate is where do you go for beef and weck? And there's literally two locations in Buffalo. There's Schwabel's in West Seneca, and then you guys. And the difference is, personally, I think, in the environment where I grew up around West Seneca. So we would go to Schwabel's, but it was a thing. Like you
Yeah.
dress up, you sit down, it's a formal like dinner,
Yeah.
and then you get this amazing beef and weck sandwich, and then
Yeah.
you go to Barbill, and it's like, hey, like you said, I'm gonna go kick some dude's ass.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna grab a beer in a frozen mug,
Yeah.
sit down and get 10 wings and a medium beef on weck, and then crush it with a side of chips and a pickle, and it's
Yep.
a totally different feel.
Yes, it is. Yep.
And it's not that it attracts different clientele, but it brings in a whole different element where I feel more at home at Barbill, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Barbill.
Yeah. I totally understand that. I think you're spot on. And I love we love Schwabel's. I mean, it's like, but I think you're totally right. It's just I love that whole tradition, and it's like way older than the Barbill, and it's like the same as it's always been. I love the experience of going to Schwabel's, but I just think we're a different flavor. I think it's just a different
We get a lot of
vibe.
people who prefer the Schwabel's thing.
Definitely.
And then come in and they're like, this isn't our vibe at all.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, both places have capacity for like 4.5 people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
speaking of Barbill, have you thought about expanding Barbill at all? Because I know that a lot of people would love to see that happen, but what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we've never. It's pretty much a non-negotiable situation where it's staying the same. Yeah, the East Aurora Barbill is. I think it's perfect the way that it is. So we're not looking to change anything about it. The way we're expanding is like more locations, stuff like that. I think we maybe for like 5 minutes had the discussion like maybe we should blow it out into 189, and before we had this concept, and it was immediately like why would we do that? Why? I mean.
So how would that work with the town too? Like if it's not,
It wouldn't.
so that's yes.
Hate us. They would hate us.
Yeah, so that's my question. Like, it's not necessarily just you guys sitting down and logistically thinking about it, and you're like, nah, we'll nix it and keep it the way it is. But you also have the town above you saying that's also not happening. Leave it the
Yeah.
way it is, because this building dates back to this like pre-70s, without a doubt. So like, what's the history behind the building that we're in for 189?
I mean, it's got to be. I think it's like 1860-ish.
Wow.
I don't know what it was. I think it was a house for a long time, but then in the 50s, maybe even before the 50s, maybe like the 30s or something like that.
Deli.
It was a deli up until the 70s, and then it became the health food store that we bought it from. But it was just that was pretty much it. Barbill used to be an ice cream shop.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Was it a house before that, or was
I
it
would
just an ice
assume
cream
so.
shop?
I would assume so, but yeah, I mean, every building in East Aurora is
Right.
so old. And yeah, the historical thing, there's zoning stuff. We had a conversation about something. I don't think it was actually Barbill, but it was like you can't combine lots here, especially if it's like historic, and especially, I mean, it would just never get approved. It's just,
So is this building historic as well as Barbill, or are they not
I don't
necessarily
think they're deemed-
historic yet?
No. There were
Okay.
two, I remember Pasquale's on Main Street bought these buildings across the street, and they were going to demolish them for parking lots, and they were historic, and they couldn't do anything to them at all, so they just had to sell them. So they bought them.
It was like a
They should have looked into it prior. But
Yeah, it's like 4 days they owned it. It's
Yeah.
like for sale.
I felt bad for them. That really sucked, but that's kind of the East Aurora vibe.
So when you first started 189, or from the first time that I was here, you had it configured a different way. The bar was in the back. It was really tight back there. And now coming in today, we were just like, where are we? Like,
Yeah.
It's completely different.
It honestly threw me off. I'm like, wait, I'm supposed to come in the back. Like, are we in the right place?
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about it. We used to have a stage. We used to do music and stuff like that, which was great. We had like tons of really, really cool national acts. And it just kind of ended up running its course. Our demand got so high for people eating that the music was taking away from people who wanted to come in and dine. And then we had a logistic issue. Originally, the reason it was so cramped in the back is we thought it was like this genius architectural move where it's like it's going to feel so cozy and small, blah blah. Turns out it just sucked.
Yeah.
So now it's way easier to run food. Everybody's kind of a little more spread out. Perfect timing with COVID, wasn't planned at all. It was just kind of.
Oh, so this was really
serendipitous.
recent that you did this.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did this. We were going to close in May to do the renovations, and then when Cuomo was like, "Yeah, we're done," it was like, "Guess March it is."
Yeah.
So
Going to move it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So talking about the food, can you explain what food is here versus what's at, obviously everybody knows what's at Barbill, but how these two complement each other rather than compete with each other?
Sure. Harry? Yeah, so our original thought, and it's still true, is this was kind of the made by scratch place and the doing our own thing, our baby kind of deal. Whereas Barbill was just kind of, we can't change much or else people would definitely be upset with us. So it's, wings and beef and like fries and stuff like that. So here we kind of started with a southern kind of deal. We did like shrimp and grits and chicken and fried chicken and stuff like that. And then our burgers just ended up being the most popular thing. So we kind of added a couple more, and then we just ended up kind of making that our whole vision. And it's been, since we've changed our menu to really revolve around burgers, it's been pretty a steady increase in popularity and stuff. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
There's also one food item that we must discuss, and it's the beef and weck egg roll.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where did that come from? Because the first time I had that, I never wanted to leave and go back to work.
Yeah, they're
I honestly, how we figure out new menu items is me and Harry talk to our head cook Jay, and we were just bouncing around a bunch of ideas, and we realized we could buy egg rolls, and we're like, we could just wrap anything in these babies and fry them, and they taste incredible.
Yeah.
And we just, obviously we have a lot of roast beef floating around,
Yeah.
so we thought let's just get, it was one of the things we tried, and they're really
They're
really good.
addictive.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
And you guys also have the basket of bacon, which was
That we
my
do.
selling point.
Yeah.
I felt like such an alpha coming here and ordering a glass of scotch and a basket of bacon.
As you
and
should.
that's exactly what I had.
So for those that have not experienced, because we have listeners that are out of state, so can you explain your bacon? Because it's not just fried bacon from Denny's put in like a fancy basket, and you're like, chip away.
Right.
Right.
First of all, it's Newski's bacon, which, if you know anything about bacon, if you're just a bacon guy, it's high-end stuff, super thick cut. It's like cured really, really well. It almost like when you cook it, it's almost got like a jerky vibe. It's like super toothsome. It's really bomb bacon just out of the gate. And then we either serve it regular or you can get it candied, which is we put brown sugar and cayenne pepper and fresh cracked black pepper on top and cook it, and it coats it in candy, and it's a delight.
That's what you need. So you guys also offer a phenomenal brunch, and your brunch also can come with a smoked old fashioned. So when you sit down and you can enjoy eggs and Benny, then you also get a side of bacon with your whiskey, and it's your smoke. Okay, so here's the thing: smoked old fashions, you can literally only have like 3 because you can't leave afterwards.
No, you will black.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you'll black out.
Yeah.
So where did those staples come from? Like the brunch ideas, and then the bourbon and burgers menu come up. Like, was that just like from an organic conversation, or from demand from people bringing up recommendations in a suggestion box?
So the old fashioned came from when we opened. We had a bar manager named Louis Garvey, who works at the Roycroft now in town, but he invented the flamed old fashioned or whatever, and that was one of the first cocktails we ever had.
Oh, that's right, flame, not smoked.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Same diff. But it was immediately a top seller, so it's just always stayed. I mean, the demand never went away, so that was out of the gate. Kind of. I mean, he just made a great drink. It's just really good. The brunch thing, obviously, like, brunch got trendy, and I guess the funny part of the brunch thing is people kept bringing it to me, being like, we got to do brunch, and I was like, that is the worst idea I've ever heard. I was like, we will never do brunch in this bar ever. Stop bringing it up. I don't want to hear it ever again. And then I eventually got beaten down. We did like 2, and it was like the best Sundays we ever did, and I was like, all right, okay. Whatever. So yeah,
You're like, well, we'll discuss
I
it.
guess we'll just try it out there. But yeah, so yeah, brunch is working for sure. Bourbon and burger and bourbon Wednesdays.
Wednesday. Yeah, we were trying to just kind of beef up Wednesdays, and that has turned into a thing too, because again, it's kind of an alpha meal, having a burger and just a whiskey with it, and we were just trying to get people to try it, because it's been kind of a slow grow of whiskey in East Aurora.
For sure.
So we're just kind of be like, it's $1 more. Do you want an ounce of like good bourbon with it? So that's kind of where that stemmed from. But.
So is that the deal? You get an ounce?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. A burger and an ounce for $15. Yeah.
Because if you drive like 20 minutes down the road, you're just going to run into people that distill.
Yes.
Yep.
So trying to introduce whiskey in East Aurora specifically is a feat, but you guys have done a great job. I mean, you have the merch that you're wearing, so that helps too.
Yes.
And then just to really get the word out. But whiskey's like a terrifying drink to order.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So
Definitely.
do you guys offer anything to kind of help other than like, here's our massive menu? Because your bar is just unbelievably stacked with quality products.
Yeah. So we do flights now. That's probably the easiest like introductory thing. But all of our bartenders now are pretty knowledgeable. That was kind of tricky at first too, because out of the gate it was just kind of me or Lewis. So if you wanted to know about whiskey or get an introduction, somebody had to call me or Lewis over, because it was tough to train staff to care. Because I mean, it was just like not a
just
thing
so
people did.
much.
And whiskey's just like you're saying, just so much. It's
And
tough
it's
for
confusing, and people don't really drink it, especially like, I mean, now they do, but 6 years ago, 20-year-olds were not like, what's the difference between bourbon and Irish whiskey and like all this stuff. So it was a tough sell. But now our staff is like really engaged, and I think they like the identity of being a whiskey place, so they want to brag about their personal favorites. They want to talk about, the stuff that they've learned over the years and stuff like that. And we have a lot of great bartenders who come from other places to here to work here. So the knowledge base is pretty deep now. So if you ask, there's a lot of great stuff to try.
So speaking about personal favorites, what are we drinking here, and what are your personal favorites?
Well,
We're definitely Scotch people, Scotch brothers, I guess.
yeah, Scotch Bros.
And so this is what we're drinking right now. It's just a limited edition run. It was like Game of Thrones. A bunch of distilleries wanted to. It was like the last season of Game of Thrones, I think. So they wanted to get a promotion together, and we are having the Del Winnie, I don't remember the year of it. I think it's Delwinnie 9 or 10. But yeah, they only released it with this, and it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smooth.
Is that your favorite type of like Dalwhinnie, or do you have a favorite Scotch?
I mean, I'm an equal opportunity Scotch drinker. I would say the Scotch I drink the most is Dewar's White Label. Delicious, award-winning blended Scotch. Takes a lot of flack unnecessarily. It's great. Give it a shot if you've never had it. But my favorite whiskey is Lagavulin 16. But I got the money to be drinking that all day. Yeah, be drinking that all day long. But I love blended Scotches. I love the Compass Box Distillery, and they blend a lot of really cool stuff. I got started more on bourbon because I think it's more approachable. But I eventually just keep kind of like pushing it with, more and more stuff, and then the peaty stuff becomes more fun and all that stuff.
So how did you get yourself into the tolerance level to enjoy peat opposed to like noticing peat when you drink it? You know what I mean?
He's asking for a friend.
Yeah.
I'm definitely asking for a friend. Like, hey man, what did you do? What's a gateway?
Yeah. So this is actually funny. This goes way back to one of my first tasks at the Barbill. I was like, you know what, we should go through our liquor inventory and kind of like just ramp it up a little bit, or like just kind of like refresh it. And I was like, we had a bunch of stuff that didn't move, and a bunch of like bizarre liqueurs and stuff like that. And I realized at 22 or 23, I had no idea what Scotch even is. Sure. Like I had absolutely no idea what it was. So I started Googling it. I started asking people, family, friends and stuff, like, what do you like? A current member, Ken Stanley, brought me over to his house, and he was like, you got to try. I have all the Johnny Walkers. We're going to drink it from red all the way up to blue. And so that was a fun night.
What else do you remember?
Yeah, exactly. That's about it, yeah. So the first Scotch I ever bought, actually, my sister bought it for me for my birthday or Christmas or something like that, was Lagavulin 16. And I was like, this is the most disgusting shit. I remember being like, what human wants to drink this straight trash? Like, I didn't get it at all. And then that's kind of when I was like, I'm not a Scotch guy. Like, whatever, it is what it is. At least I know what it is now. I started with bourbon. I actually probably most enjoyed Irish because it was so approachable, like Redbreast and stuff like that. Teeling I really liked. And then I started drinking bourbons because I really like high wheat bourbons. Then I started drinking ryes, which are a little bit more complex, a little spicier. And then I just started to be like, oh, like this blended Scotch is actually pretty approachable. I like this. It's a different flavor. And then, it just got to the point where drinking Ardbeg and Lafroig and stuff like that tastes like dirt. Yeah. And it doesn't even taste like dirt. It's like coffee. You know what I mean? Like absolutely. Where coffee's like delicious, and the first time you drink it, it's like, but just acquired taste, I guess. But.
So at Barbill, you have a mug program. Mm-hmm. Is this locker program that you had here meant to be a cousin of that in sorts? Kind of, yeah.
We kind of wanted the vibe here to be like a little step more upscale. We've kind of reverted on it's pretty casual here now. But it was kind of that exact thing. It was like, yeah, over there it's a pretty approachable membership program, but here you kind of have to be more of a dedicated, you got to love whiskey, you want to care a little bit more, it costs more, you have to be more invested in the restaurant, stuff like that. But yeah, the mug club.
So for those that are listening that don't know, can you explain like the general basis of what that is?
Yes.
You buy a mug and you get domestic drafts for $1 in that mug. It's 10 ounces. And I believe the mug cost $50 at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then you get a $1 draft for
life. Yeah,
for life
till you
so
die.
Yeah, if you come in at this point, you have to come in like probably a couple times a week, maybe once a week, to have your mug on the wall. There's about 200 on the wall, I believe, and then the other 4,000 are upstairs. Yeah, we're in the 4,000s at this point.
My parents got their mugs in the early 80s. So they've had them since then.
It's been
Yeah.
Oh
going.
my! I didn't know it was going on for that long.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think it's 5,000. Are we like
Are we in the
4,500,
5,000?
something like that?
Could be. Yeah.
So it's an honor to get it on the wall. That means you're
Oh
there
yeah,
like
you're
every
gonna
day.
work hard.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and like,
I'm not even on the
I
wall.
took my mug off.
You're right
yeah,
next door.
yeah, but I think it's the same with him. Is we took him off the wall just because it was like at least. I mean, the people who aren't making it on the wall are there 3 times a week. And it's like, I don't know, keep coming, buddy. You might get up there. It's like, Jesus
it's
Christ. So I'd much rather have them who take it. I mean, these dudes take it very seriously.
Yeah.
Or if they jump a shelf, like it takes you. I think for me to get from the first shelf to the second shelf took me like 4 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's like
So
it's,
each
it's
shelf
a slow
means
crawl.
something, too?
People need to literally die. I mean, like the people on the top shelf. I'm not even kidding. Have been coming to the Barbill for 40 years, and they come every day. And I mean, like the bartenders over there can go down all 200 on the wall and tell you exactly who they are by name.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, yeah.
Because you guys you've had bartenders there for generations.
Definitely. Yeah.
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 Yeah, our
It's
longest
amazing.
employee is at like 45 years or
Yeah.
something.
I think she started in 77 with Joe.
is nice.
Maybe 80. Maybe 80. But
That's insane.
Yeah.
So was it a difficult decision from a community standpoint to expand to multiple locations, or was it more of a easy financial decision?
was not easy.
Yeah.
It was not an easy, not an easy decision. And East Aurora does not give us anything for free. They've been, especially the first couple years, were pretty on top of us. Which I don't blame them. I'd probably do the same thing if it was somebody I didn't know. There was a lot of people who were skeptical or thought we were going to do some, like weird stuff or change the place or whatever. I think we have a little bit more trust, but I don't know if we're like universally loved.
I think there's a vibe though where East Aurora is happy to have their Barbill back because it was starting to get so like there would be 35 table waits of people just coming from the north towns.
Yep.
And now they get to go up there. So
Sure.
I think there's a little bit more. Obviously, we're at 50% capacity right now, so
COVID
it's a little
stuff,
weird.
but-
But
So you said you had 4 locations. Am I missing one?
The fourth is our takeout location. It's just in a separate building. So
Where's the third?
it's
Here.
189.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I was scared. I'm like, did I miss something? Is there something in like Lancaster that I don't know about?
North Dakota.
It's like, all right, road tripping tomorrow. Pack it up.
Is the menu items different at the north location than it is here?
No.
No, same.
Yep.
We have a salad.
Different salad. Different salad. We thought was important to North
People in East
Town.
Aurora don't need vegetables. They don't care. Up there, people want vegetables.
Yeah, we do have a salad.
That's amazing. That's the most honest.
True. That's the only thing that's different. Yeah.
Nice.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So one thing too that is specific to East Aurora is the open container law. Everybody knows it, but I don't think they know the specifics behind it. Can you shed any light on what that means to, one, like the legal aspect of it, and two, what it means to the community of East Aurora in general?
Yeah, I have an anecdote about it actually. Basically, for people who don't know, there's like I think literally like 10 places in America.
It could
like
be less.
Yeah,
It's
maybe
like
less.
Las
Like
Vegas.
Vegas is one, and East Aurora for some random reason. You're legally allowed to drink wherever you want in public, all day long. So
Whenever, or are there specific dates?
Whenever.
anytime.
Go Bills.
You can literally
Yeah.
get a 6-pack, walk outside, crack it, chug it.
Uncovered,
There
whatever.
used to be a guy, I'm not going to say his name, there used to be a guy in town who used to just crush beers in town. And when I was growing up, this isn't even the anecdote, but when I was growing up, he would just be bombed all day long in town. And the cops, people would complain like he's bombed and like laying on the ground. The cops would be like, yo,
Freedom.
can you go home? And he'd be like, no. And they'd be like, oh. I mean, but the anecdote is one time I was in high school, you have to go to like a village board meeting to like show that you love government or whatever that is. And so at mine, they were actually bringing up in this, I came to find out that they do this every probably like 5-10 years is somebody from the community, usually somebody who moves in, realizes that that's a thing and they're appalled and they're like, oh my God, I need to do something about this. So they take it to the village board and they put it on the whatever that like, oh, we need to get rid of this open container law, and it literally, no joke, got laughed out of the room. Like the village board members were laughing. They were like, yeah, absolutely not. I mean, like the town has no, I mean,
Patience for that.
Yeah, exactly. It is universally loved. Universally loved that we can drink wherever we want.
So has this been a thing like
Forever.
Forever? And there's just no appetite to change. That's awesome.
No, I think East Aurora was like established by the wealthy in Buffalo as like a vacation spot. I think that's why they made it a village, was they used to come here, like the Knoxes and like all these people used to vacation here. And I think they just, when they were establishing it, were like, wouldn't it be dope if we could just drink everywhere? And they just never changed it.
There's very few things that you can say we're similar to Las Vegas on.
Yeah.
This is one of them.
That's about it. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
It makes like town events awesome too. Like
Sure
we
does.
have a music fest every June, and it's just bonkers because people just walk from tent to tent like it's their backyard with
It's
30 racks. It's insane.
30 racks.
Yeah.
Well, it's such a process to obtain a license to be able to even have a patio that you can allow beers on.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been interviewing a couple different businesses that have blocked off a street, and it was a process to get that done.
Yeah.
Here, you can just like go stand in the middle of the street.
Yeah,
You're
it's a
good.
really bizarre thing because we still have to abide by the SLA rules, which is that like your patio needs to be enclosed, it needs to be visibly marked off where you can drink, blah 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 blah. But it's perfectly legal to drink on the street, but you can't bring it into the bar, obviously. So many times a dude will come up with the beer in his hand, walk in, we're like, sir, you got to get rid of the beer, whatever. And he's like, this is legal, man. It's like, no. It's like, it's not. I know what you're talking about because I live here, but you can drink it out there, but you can't bring it in here. So it's a whole thing. We can technically sell beer retail, and then they can leave and drink it out there, but
They can't bring it
they
into somewhere
can't.
else.
Yeah, it's very confusing here. A lot of gray areas in East Aurora, but
So they can go to not a sponsor, Rite Aid next door.
Yeah.
Buy whatever beer they want and then casually walk up and down Main Street. It's totally fine. But they can't come into your establishment, buy
With
a beer,
alcohol.
wait for their table, and then
Correct.
drink their beer outside.
Correct.
Because your permit ends at the entranceway, correct?
correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Nice.
Interesting.
But we can sell retail, so they could buy a beer. You can't do this in COVID, but normal times, you could buy a beer retail and then leave and just drink it walking down the street. But technically, we can't. You know what I mean? It's like,
I feel like I
very
would
confusing.
be very, very self-conscious if I were to do that, but it's so socially acceptable here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So what
nobody
we should
blinks.
do with the town board is bring up the permit issue and just be like, if someone's waiting for the establishment, give us like an outer perimeter.
Oh,
similar.
nobody does anything. Nobody.
No?
Nobody does it. Yeah, nobody. Nobody does it.
See, another one laughed out.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
Another one left out.
One time-
He's like, come on, get that out.
One time I was walking to the fireworks, the town fireworks, and I had a beer walking down the street, and a police officer pulled up and he said, "Hey, hey." And I looked over and I was just standing there. I was like, "Oh no!" It's like, "Am I doing something wrong?" And he goes, "Why don't you got a beer in each hand, bro?" And then he peeled away. Real, true story. Yeah, true story. Serve and protect, baby.
I love this town.
Yeah, it's a good
So,
place.
so speaking of the town, do you do any community involvement or anything that you do for the community itself?
We do. I mean, we donate a lot to events and golf tournaments and charities. We did our first inaugural Barbill golf tournament last year to support Hawk Creek
Yep.
Animal Preserve.
Okay.
And we had it at Bobolinks because we thought that was funny.
Nice.
And we did it under the lights, and we had shuttle buses, and you've never seen a group of drunkard dudes
It
ever.
was possibly the best thing
It was
I've ever
so
attended.
funny and so fun, and I think there was 20 groups or something, and I think 3 dudes got their scorecards in. Everybody else was just like,
I don't remember.
We stopped playing golf. We just started walking around drinking, but a lot of fun. Save the animals.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Save the animals.
Yeah.
That's what I do sober. I just turn in my scorecard
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a garbage can and just
Yeah.
forget that round occurred.
Yeah, why bother? Why bother?
That's awesome. So where can people find you on social media and then look up like your hours if they want to come and enjoy everything that you guys have?
I mean, we're all over everything. So
Right.
we're on, if you Google Barbill or 189 Burger, we're all over everything. We're on Instagram, Twitter. We take reservations now because of COVID on Open Table. We have a website, which is barbill.com
Yeah.
and
189
189 spelled out,
.com.
EIGH, etc. I don't want to get in the weeds there with spelling.
I love it.
But yeah, we're pretty easy to find.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So, is there any thoughts on expanding 189 to a different location since you did that with Barbill? Or what's next for the 189 Barbill family?
Everything's on the table. Everything's on the table. We're definitely going to open more locations eventually when we have the bandwidth and maybe when COVID's over. But yeah, I mean, if the demand is there for another 189, we would do it. I love this brand. I think the burgers are great. I think we make great cocktails. I think it's just gaining a lot of steam. So I could see that happening. I could definitely see us doing, we've talked about different Barbill type, whatever you call that.
Variations.
Yeah, variations on the brand and stuff like that. So we'll see. I mean, we've talked about a ton of different stuff.
Do you guys sell merch at all?
We do. We have merch at each location. So our clearance location has probably the most merch, but then we have tons available in East Aurora and at our takeout location. And I believe there's even some still on the internet right now on barbill.com. But yeah, tons of shirts.
One more thing we have to talk about, specifically with your wings.
Yeah.
You guys paint your wings
Yes.
instead of toss them.
Yes.
Was that started before you?
Oh,
And
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's just you guys have to continue it.
Yeah, I mean, we would either way because, I mean, it's literally, that's how you make the perfect wing, in my opinion, IMO.
You know they can't. They literally can't change anything. You
Oh,
know,
no,
that,
I know,
like
yeah.
the tongue
Oh,
would
yeah.
riot.
Oh, yeah. If we walked in and we were like, we just toss them now, they would murder us. It wouldn't even be funny.
'em out.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. It would not be funny at all. It'd be a hostile takeover. But yeah, it's kind of a badge of honor too when you start working there, like how fast you can paint them, because as you can imagine, you need to be
Legit.
to survive because the volume is crazy. But
Yeah, I'm sure your hand cramps up after the first couple
Oh, yeah.
hours.
yeah, your left hand, you have to hold them with tongs, and you have to grab them and paint them real fast. So yeah,
You
first
start
couple
to see
shifts.
wings when you blink.
Yeah,
Honestly.
you have nightmares about it. Yeah.
So another thing too is that you guys are known for your flavors outside of just like hot, medium, mild.
Mm-hmm.
How often do those flavors change? Because I feel like you've gotten a significant set, and now they're just staples and they don't change.
That's pretty much the case,
Yeah.
yeah. We have made in our tenure one wing sauce.
One.
I just love how baked in a tradition you guys have.
Yeah, because I mean, at first I feel like we were like, you know what, we got to prove ourselves, we got whatever, and then eventually we're like, what the fuck are we doing? It's like, just cook the wings for the people. Like, what do we don't need to. Nobody's looking for our creative input.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
yeah, but eventually we'll probably do another one. But
Yeah. One more.
yeah, one per decade.
What is your favorite? Are you a suicide guy?
No, God, no.
God, no.
I ate one once, and I was like, never, ever again. That's the dumbest thing ever. I don't, even when dudes get it through, like, isn't this awesome? It's like, no, you're an idiot. First of all, the stuff we make the sauce with, literally, you can't touch with your skin. Like, it literally is
Yeah,
like, do not touch.
Should not go in your body.
Yeah.
Do you
don't
know
touch
what it
this
is?
with your skin.
Like from a Scoville unit level, do you have to report any of this stuff to? No.
No.
No, it's
Full send.
Yeah.
It's 600,000 Scoville units. Though. Jesus.
Okay, so it's still less than 1 million, so people can grow up and get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, suck it up.
I love it.
So what is your favorite? Sorry.
No, I think mine is probably honey Dijon.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Mine is Cajun honey butter barbecue,
Nice.
which we call Josh Allen's in the kitchen.
Yep.
'Cause that's his favorite.
That's
as
his
well,
fave.
so.
Yeah.
So yeah, being a staple to the community, what type of famous people have you had come to Barbill specifically?
God.
David Blaine.
Yeah, that's
Seriously?
Yeah.
probably the most
He was just on the
famous
Joe
one.
Rogan's podcast.
He
not
was.
so-
That he
wow.
was. That he
That's cool.
was.
He
Yeah.
just stuck him with a needle or something. He's like, yeah, I can take it.
Yeah.
All right, chill
yeah,
out,
through
David.
his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. He opened his wallet and a 8-ball fell out, and then he put it back in his wallet and folded it in his pocket and
Yeah, it's
disappeared.
I hate him so
Yeah,
much
he
just
was-
for that.
It was bizarre.
He asked for us to make his suicidal hotter, so he had 20 of those, and he's like, "You got to make these hotter for me." And we're like, "Yeah, well."
We literally just put straight up capsaicin extract
Yeah.
on wings, and he was like,
He just doesn't have feeling anywhere
"Yeah,
in his body.
I don't know." Or, I mean, I don't understand magic.
Can't with
so-
him. That dude is out there. He's just out there.
Yeah.
So then there's multiple Bills and former Bills that live in the area.
Yeah.
So are they Are they like friends at this point where they just walk in and you're like, what's going on?
I mean, not to us personally,
wish.
but yeah. If any Bills want to hang out with me, just let me know. No, but I mean, literally every player comes through. It's funny story. Actually, my dad was sitting at the bar one time, and it was like the year of all the quarterbacks getting drafted, like the 4, and it was like which one is the Bills going to get and stuff like that. And the only one they brought to the Barbill on their like visits before the draft was Josh Allen.
really?
And my dad was like, I bet that's who we take because it's the only one who came to the Barbell, and then we took him. So.
Yeah, that's fine.
So what are your thoughts on Duff's and Anchor Bar? Not to throw shade or anything, but like being the wings experts you guys are, what are they to you
love
guys?
Duff's.
Yeah, I love Duff's. I think Duff's is great.
Yeah.
Anchor Bar exists.
Excellent word choice.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay.
I don't think they try, you know?
Sure.
I think they're at this point in their like company's existence, they're just like,
Yeah.
whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
I
People still
don't.
go there, and I think if you've never had a buffalo wing, it's fine.
Yeah.
But-
And I mean, they obviously are great at running a restaurant. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like it's crap, but if you have a choice, I mean,
Yeah. So speaking on that, what type of there's obviously the Buffalo Wing Fest, but what other competitions or something have you guys entered, and have you won anything?
we enter none,
Okay.
but we've won a ton.
Nice.
Cheers, boys.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. So
That's amazing.
It's just true.
what does that
They
mean?
just send them to us. They literally, but we'll just get a letter like, oh.
Yeah. We've
We
never
want
done
something.
the wing fest.
Yeah, because the only reason is because they cook the wings for you, and then they give them to you, and then you put the sauce on them. And it's
take
not
away
really
from
our
other
wings,
things.
so it's
Yeah.
just like we just skip it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we signed up for a couple different things, like right when we bought the place, and then we realized it's like we have so much that we need to do just to exist as a restaurant that we just try to focus most of our energy on doing that. But yeah, I mean, we've won. What,
Yeah,
like,
we're a good like Twitter poll. We win a lot of those.
A lot of
we
Twitter
won
polls.
The Buffalo Spree. We've won a couple.
Yep.
Best wings or whatever. But
So regarding wings, how does this whole thing come about where your wings are just different from everybody else's? Like, do you have a random Barbill farm that no one knows exists where you just have chickens with
the
like a
chickens are doing
secret?
squats. You know, just
Yeah,
we
like they're
got
just
them.
literally crushing it. Like, how does this?
I tell people this. I mean, you can go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say I never know how much I want to say, but I mean we're getting the same wings as everybody else.
Yeah, and the thing I always tell people, and they're always like, yeah, right, is- I think the thing that makes our wings great is that we cook them from fresh always. So we never par cook them. We never do anything weird. We always get the same wings, and we always paint them. So they're never like saturated in sauce. They're never. We time it so the cook time's always the same. Maybe that's part of it. I know a lot of other places just like guesstimate, so it probably makes it like hit or miss. And we don't do that. Every fryer's on a timer. But I mean, we don't do any kind of weird magic stuff. It's just the sauce tastes
David
good.
Blaine's
No
still
way.
in the back room.
Yeah.
Me employ David Blaine. That's all we do.
He's on our payroll. We have Blaine on retainer.
So what type of burger is 189 known for?
Make a twice ground all brisket burger. That at least is is way more unique than the wings. The wings are just like wings.
Yeah.
But we do straight up full brisket into a grinder twice, and it's like way higher fat content than other.
Okay.
A lot of times they'll cut it with chuck or sirloin or something like that to kind of lean it out, which some people prefer, but we just like a really fatty burger. So we grind it all in house. It's a lot of meat grinding,
Yeah.
but
Then literally salt.
Yeah, shitload of salt.
on
Yeah.
flat top.
Yep.
That's it.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for letting us come here and talk your ear off on both Barbill and 189.
Yep.
Everybody knows where to find you at this point. You guys are staples of the community, and we just really appreciate your time. So thank you very much.
Thank you for
guys.
having us, for sure.
Absolutely. We're out.